So White Mage is my favorite healer to play as. Their off-global cooldown abilities are amazing. I love the DPS that they bring to the table. Their big cooldowns are satisfying to use, and I find it to be the most fun healer to play as. Sorry, Scholar and Astrologian, what can I say? I love throwing out those really big and juicy heals. White Mage also have access to the most radiant spell in the game. Its name is Holy, or as I like to call it, the spell not only does damage, but has great utility as well. Because it stuns every enemy in a pretty large radius, the tank will basically take no damage for a sizable amount of time. They can save cooldowns, do more damage. It's great, even if the party is cursing under their breath at the blinding light radiating out of your White Mage. So what kind of changes would I like to see when it comes to White Mage? What do I hope to see in upcoming live letters and job announcements? The first thing, and the most nitpicky thing mind you, is I hate that the Arrow/Dia spell invokes the global cooldown. It is an instant cast spell that then locks you out of being able to cast more spells. It feels awful to use. I can't understate how annoying it is having to wait, because of a dot mind you, before being able to cast another stone or glare. Like I said, it's not the end of the world, but I think it would improve the flow of White Mage DPS so much if they put the spell off the global cooldown and just had the recast timer be the global cooldown. Then you could fluidly cast between Dia and Glare and not feel that clunky gap before being able to cast again. Another issue is the spell Cure. Yeah, your first healing spell becomes an issue. You see, Cure is functionally useless once White Mage has access to Lucid Dreaming, which increases your MP regen, Thin Air, which gives you free cast for 12 seconds, and then their myriad of non-MP costing off the global cooldown heals. Since mana is not an issue with all that, no one uses Cure as an upper level White Mage, and that right there should be a cause for concern. It's always better to use Cure 2 at higher levels. Cure is wasting space on my bar. I only have it there because sometimes in my leveling roulette, I get a lower level dungeon. I can't even imagine trying to justify its spot on a controller. That really should not be the case. Cure should have use. You shouldn't need to justify the spot of an ability. I actually have an idea on how Cure could be more useful, and help with another problem I have with White Mage, which is the Lily Gauge. The Lily Gauge has 0 player agency. It's a gauge that fills up very slowly while in combat, and after 30 seconds, of being in combat mind you, it will not fill up outside of combat. You get a Lily, which is a resource that you can then spend to cast some very high potency, instant off the global cooldown heals. I think if Cure helped speed up the rate at which the gauge increased, that would make Cure much more useful, give upper level players a reason to cast it, and also give the players some agency with how the Lily Gauge refills. So the other thing is that the way the Lily Gauge is set up means you can't use most of your abilities when you start a dungeon, raid, trial, for at least 30 seconds. It's a bit clunky not being able to use your full toolkit for that long, and that's why I also think White Mage needs an ability that allows them to instantly get some lilies. When I am playing on my ninja, as an example, I have the ability to instantly give my ninja some Ninki. My red mage, as another example, can instantly fill up some of their black-white magic gauge as well. In fact, a lot of jobs have some way to give themselves instant resource, so I don't see why White Mage shouldn't have something similar to that as well. I get that changing the rate of white lilies would also change the rate of blood lilies, and some balance issues could occur. I feel like I'd be okay with Afflatus Misery, the blood lily DPS spell, doing less damage per cast if it meant more agency on my White Lily gauge, and also being able to cast Afflatus Misery more often as a result. It's really cool seeing huge damage numbers from an Afflatus Misery cast every 90 seconds or so, but I really do think it would be just as cool casting a less potent Afflatus Misery more often. So those are some changes I would love to see addressed in the upcoming live letters and job change announcements. I really do think those changes could lead to a more fluid and fun gameplay experience to a job that I already love. I am very excited to see the job changes, as well as the new abilities we'll be getting in Endwalker. So, what would you like to see changed? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this little ramble. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and also have a wonderful day.